Hi friends, in this video I am going to discuss the first chapter in the book Constitution at Work. Chapter 1, Constitution, Why and How. Introduction. You can see, after studying this chapter you will learn what a constitution means, what a constitution does to the society, how constitutions govern the allocation of power in society. What was the way in which the Constitution of India was made? You can see why we need a constitution. You can read everything. I am slowly scrolling. You can see why do we need a constitution. The main point, constitution allows coordination and assurance. That's and all not required. You can see the first function of a constitution is to provide a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination amongst members of a society. You can see the statement. We are discussing the functions of constitution. The first function, you can see the first function. Constitution is to provide a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination amongst members of a society. You can deeply understand the meaning of this statement. That is, providing a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination. That means among the people. Constitution kept some rules, right? For what? That is, to create a coordination between the members of the society. That was the first function of constitution. You can see each and every page in this video, and I am discussing the main sentences which are important in this chapter. Then the second function of a constitution is to specify who has the power to make decisions in a society. It decides how the government will be constituted. You can read the statement again. See, this was the second function. What's there in this? To specify who has the power to make decisions in a society. But constitution saying it will show who has the power to make decisions in a society. Suppose if you take example, if government want to make some laws, who has the power to make laws? Government. Or for giving some judgments, judiciary has the power. Like that, constitution function was to specify who has the power to make decisions in a society. Then it decides how the government will be constituted. Yes, you can understand. Read again and again, you can completely understand. You can see, you can read about this cartoon. It is about European Commission. Committee of the European Union tried to create a European constitution. The attempt failed. Why? Means you can deeply understand the cartoon. Each one expressing their own expression. Means if you want to prepare constitution, means everyone should agree and everyone should discuss. There is a debate, and we have to think about normal people, and we have to think different perspectives. And see, from this cartoon you can learn each person giving their own expression. Means that's related to their own mind. While preparing constitution, everyone think about everyone. The third function of the constitution is to set some limits on what a government can impose on its citizens These limits are fundamental in the sense that government may never trespass them. See, this was the third function, to set some limits on what a government can impose on its citizens. Means constitution uh, keeping some limits on government. Why? Means if there is no limit on the government, means government can do whatever they want to do. If according to constitution there are some limits on the government, that's why whenever there is a problem regarding government's issues like that, a person can file a case and they can go for justice like that. You can deeply understand the function of third function of the constitution. If there is no limit on the government, means government can do whatever they want. They can impose anything on normal people, common people. So that's why constitution makers made everything, and here constitution have the functions. You can see the main headings, aspirations and goals of the society. And in each and every cartoon in NCRTs, you can learn something from the cartoons. You can see here in the middle, Jawaharlal Nehru discussing with the people, constitution makers. The constitution makers have to address themselves to very different aspirations. Here, Nehru is trying to balance between different visions and ideologies. Let's see, if in constituent assembly there are some lawyers or civil servants, normal, some freedom fighters. Each one will give their own expression and ideology. We have to balance and we have to check those all aspirations, and they have to balance each and everything. You can see the fourth function of a constitution is to enable the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society and create conditions for a just society. You can see the fourth function, to enable the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society. Means suppose you can take government gives some welfare measures like Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, constructing houses. uh, you can see piped drinking water. Like that, government can take some welfare measures to fulfill the aspirations of a society. Then you can see fundamental identity of a people. Finally, and perhaps even most importantly, a constitution expresses the fundamental identity of a people. This means the people as a collective entity come into being only through the basic constitution. You can see the cartoon. It is about creating constitution in Iraq when it was the collapse of Saddam Hussein's regime. This regime saw a lot of conflict between different ethnic groups in the country. You can see here in the cartoon there are Sunnis, Baghdadis, Shiites, and each one express their own interest, right? In this page you can check your progress. You can link these statements with the functions of the constitution. The authority of a constitution, side heading. You can read what is a constitution, how effective is a constitution. Is a constitution just I am giving a brief idea of each and every chapter. You can see, although India's constitution was formally created by a constituent assembly between December 1946 and November 1949, it drew upon a long history of the nationalist movement that had a remarkable ability to take along different sections of Indian society together. The constitution drew enormous legitimacy from the fact that it was drawn up by people who enjoyed immense public credibility. That means uh, people who enjoyed immense public credibility means our freedom fighters, like leaders who had the capacity to negotiate and command the respect of a wide cross section of society, and who were able to convince the people that the constitution was not an instrument for the aggrandizement of their personal power. The final document reflected the broad national consensus at the time. What it means, the final document reflected the broad national consensus at the time means constitution discussing about each and every person in the country, means like suppose what I can take example, coming from the poor people to rich people, broad ideas for each and every topic. There there is a statement in the constitution, like you can see, states creation, like union territories creation. You can see the articles in the constitution, you can understand the substantive provisions of a constitution. It is the hallmark of a successful constitution that it gives everyone in society some reason to go along with its provisions. A constitution that, for instance, allowed permanent majorities to oppress minority groups within society would give minorities no reason to go along the provision of the constitution. This taking example, if suppose constitution is there in favor of majority group, the majority group can suppress the minority group, right? That's why constitution systematically privileged some members at the expense of others, or that systematically entrenched the power of small groups in society would cease to command allegiance. If any group feels their identity is being stifled, they will have no reason to abide by the constitution. No constitution by itself achieves perfect justice, but it has to convince people that it provides the framework for pursuing basic justice. Then you can see the highlighted, the more a constitution preserves the freedom and equality of all its members, the more likely is to succeed. Does the Indian constitution, broadly speaking, give everyone a reason to go along with its broad outlines? After studying this book completely, one should be able to answer this question in the affirmative. Balanced institutional design. This was the subheading. Can take the highlighted one. Important aspect of intelligent institutional design is that a constitution must strike the right balance between certain values, norms, and procedures as authoritative, and at the same time allow enough flexibility in its operations to adapt to changing needs and circumstances. Too rigid a constitution is likely to break under the weight of change. That means you can see too rigid. Whenever if we want to change some law, uh, if all the times if we change the law means, it will break under the weight of change. The constitution that is, on the other hand, too flexible. That is, if the constitution is too flexible, means it will give no security, predictability, or identity to a people. Successful constitutions strike the right balance between preserving core values and adapting them to new circumstances. And you can see the Indian constitution is described as a living document by striking a balance between the possibility to change the provisions and limits on such changes. The Constitution has ensured that it will survive as a document respected by people. This arrangement also ensures that no section or group can, on its own, subvert the Constitution. And you can see how was the Indian Constitution made. We have to know this. Formally, the constitution was made by Constituent Assembly, which had been elected for undivided India. It held its first sitting on 9th December 1946 and resembled as Constituent Assembly for divided India on 14th August 1947. Its members were chosen by indirect elections by the members of the Provincial Legislative Assembly that had been established under the Government of India Act 1935. You can highlight the Act, Government of India Act 1935. It's very important. The Constituent Assembly was composed roughly along the lines suggested by the plan proposed by the Committee of the British Cabinet, known as the Cabinet Mission. This Cabinet Mission also important. According to this plan, each province and each princely state or group of states were allotted seats proportional to their respective population, roughly in the ratio 1 is to 10 lakhs. As a result, the provinces that were under direct British rule were to elect 292 members, while the princely states were allotted a minimum of 93 states. You have to know what are provinces and what are princely states. The seats in each province were distributed among the three main communities: Muslims, Sikhs, and general, in proportion to their respective populations. Members of each community in provincial legislative assembly elected their own representatives by the method of proportional representation with single transferable vote. We can discuss this single transferable vote, proportional representation in further chapters. The method of selection in the case of representatives of princely states was to be determined by consultation. You can see the composition of the Constituent Assembly. As a consequence of partition under the plan of 3rd June 1947, those members who were elected from territories which fell under Pakistan ceased to be members of Constituent Assembly. The number of members in the assembly was reduced to 299. The constitution was adopted on 26th November 1949. 284 members were actually present on 24th January 1950 and appended their signature to the constitution as finally passed. The constitution came into force on 26th January 1950. You can see this adopted and came into force. Constitution was adopted on 26 November 1949 And Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. The Constitution was thus framed against the backdrop of the horrendous violence that the partition unleashed on the subcontinent. But it is a tribute to the fortitude of the framers that they were not only able to draft a constitution under immense pressure, but also learned the right lessons from the unimaginable violence that accompanied the partition. You can imagine the situation during the partition time. There is a lot of violence. In these lines, we can understand the situation at that time during 1947. The Constitution was committed to a new conception of citizenship where not only would minorities be secure but religious identity would have no bearing on citizenship rights. You can read again where the constitution was committed to a new conception of citizenship. We can think about citizenship. Recently, as well, so many times about citizenship, there is a news. We can further discuss this citizenship topic in further coming chapter. There is a specific chapter about citizenship. You can see, although the members of assembly were not elected by universal suffrage. Universal suffrage means what? Now, the people who are above 18 years are having right to vote, right? That was universal suffrage. Means everyone, the person who have more than 18 years can vote. That was universal suffrage. There was a serious attempt to make the assembly a representative body. Members of all religions were given representation under the scheme described above. In addition, the assembly had 28 members from the scheduled caste. In terms of political parties, the Congress dominated the assembly, occupying as many as 82% of the seats in the assembly after the partition. During the time, Congress was the main party. Means Indian National Congress was formed, right? That continued as Congress. The Congress itself was such a diverse party that it managed to accommodate almost all shades of opinion within it. You can see the principles of deliberation. I'm giving the brief thing in each and every topic. You can see each member deliberated upon the constitution with the interest of whole nation in mind. There were often disagreements amongst members, but few of these disagreements could be traced to members protecting their own interest. Means during the preparation of constitution, each person will give their own expression, right? At that time, so there are so many disagreements. We can think of it. Means while preparing the constitution, there are some disagreements about the topics which are there in constitution. You can see the procedures. You can see the picture. The President of Constituent Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and Chairman of Drafting Committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. You can remember this President of Constituent Assembly was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and Chairman of Drafting Committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And you can see the procedures. The Constituent Assembly had 8 major committees on different subjects. Usually Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Patel or B.R. Ambedkar chaired these committees. These were not men who agreed with each other on many things. Ambedkar had been a bitter critic of the Congress and Gandhi, accusing them of not doing enough for the upliftment of scheduled caste. You can see during those times, scheduled caste was suppressed by upper caste people. That's why Ambedkar struggled a lot for the upliftment of scheduled caste. Even Gandhi also tried a lot for upliftment of scheduled caste. Patel and Nehru disagreed on many issues. Nevertheless, they all worked together. See, those people having so many disagreements, but still they prepared constitution and they worked together. Each committee usually drafted particular provisions of the constitution, which were then subjected to debate by entire assembly. Usually, an attempt was made to reach a consensus with the belief that provisions agreed to by all would not be detrimental to any particular interest. Some provisions were subject to the vote, but in each instance, every single argument, query, or concern was responded to with great care and in writing. See, you can understand the lines. Means that much care they have taken while preparing constitution. They think about each and every person. So much debates. Uh, means like a doubt clearing session. Like debates means arguments among the people. What will be the situation if the article will be like this, means what will the future consequences. They thought about future also. That's why still we are using the same constitution, even though we are making some amendments to the constitution. Then you can see the assembly met for 166 days, spread over 2 years and 11 months. 18 days was missed here, that is 2 years 11 months 18 days. The constitution took the time of 2 years and 11 months 18 days for preparation. Next, further you can see the Constitution Assembly is the objective resolution. It means the resolution that define the aims of the assembly. That objective resolution was moved by Nehru in 1946. This resolution encapsulated the aspirations and values behind the constitution. You can see the main points of the objective resolution. India is an independent sovereign republic. India shall be a union of erstwhile British Indian territories, Indian states, and other parts outside British India and Indian states as are willing to be a part of the union. You can read each and every line. And all powers and authority of sovereign and independent India and its constitution shall flow from the people. The minorities, backward and tribal areas, depressed and other backward classes shall be provided adequate safeguards. You can see territorial integrity of the republic and its sovereign rights on the land, sea, air shall be maintained according to justice and law of civilized nations. The land would make full and willing contribution to the promotion of world peace and welfare of mankind. You can see institutional arrangements. The Constituent Assembly spent a lot of time on evolving the right balance among various institutions like the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. We will discuss in deep in further chapters about executive, legislature, and judiciary. This led to the adoption of parliamentary form and the federal arrangement, which would distribute governmental powers between the legislature and the executive on the one hand, and between the states and central government on the other hand. You can see the speaker Dr. B.R. Ambedkar presiding over the discussion in the Constituent Assembly. You can see the statement. One likes to ask whether there can be anything new in a constitution framed at this hour in the history of the world. The only new things, if there can be any, in a constitution framed so late in the day, are the variations made to remove the faults and to accommodate it to the needs of the country. I'm not discussing each and everything, means it's too much time consuming. I'm discussing briefly what are all the important points. You can see the provisions adapted from constitutions of different countries. See how our constitution is a very large one, means we took each and every consideration, and we borrowed some topics from other constitutions. You can see the constitutions which are all borrowed from different sorry, provisions adopted from constitutions of different countries. You can see from British constitution we borrowed first past the post and parliamentary form of government, idea of the rule of law, institution of the speaker and her or his role, lawmaking procedure. These topics are borrowed from British Constitution. You can see from Irish Constitution, we borrowed directive principles of state policy. From French Constitution, principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. From United States Constitution, Charter of Fundamental Rights, power of judicial review and independence of judiciary. From Canadian Constitution, a quasi-federal form of government. It is a federal system with a strong central government. The idea of residual powers. This was the first chapter ending. Thank you guys. Please share and subscribe and share and support my channel. Thank you. If you want more clarifications, give a comment in the comment section. And if you in further videos, I can better explain. Means if I explain each and every line, means it will be a time consuming. So if you have any doubt in the lines in this first chapter, you can give a comment. Thank you.